Hi, this is Fern. Welcome back to my channel. Came on real quick to uh, just be an encouragement, bring more clarification to what business is. A lot of times, we want to go into business and start things, but we don't understand, some of us, the definition. So I just help bring clarity, and I'm always clarifying for myself. So sometimes I'll find myself, looking in the dictionary 2 or 3 times just to make sure I have a firm foundation of what business is and what it means and what to look for in order to be able to go ahead. So I'm coming on, and I'm still on that business startup. So just encouraging for those who don't know that there's a process, and that God has given all of us a gift to create wealth, and that when we look to Him for our source and Him being our source, that He gives us a foundation. And just wanted to share that with you, for especially for young people in the times we're living in. A lot of them are who are digitally able to go online and begin to tinker with the data and the different apps and things like that. They are so far much more in advance. So for those who aren't um, and don't know, that they can take and start businesses online. They could start it within their community. I don't you can wash cars, you could babysit. There's so many gifts and skills that you have in you. And it's just not those things. I say that because sometimes it can be discouraging when you don't have what you see people gathering different tools and equipment. But I want you to know that there's creativity inside of you. We were all born with the creative spirit because God is the master creator. So to look around and look inside of you, look in your heart and say, you know what, can I be a business person? The world is using that word entrepreneurship. Well, back in the old days, and that could be yesterday, and in the beginning of time, they were called tradespeople, skills people, more so tradespeople, tradesmen and women. So I just want to clarify for you what a business is so that you can know and think and let it just go, hey, can I do business? Do I have the skills? Do I have what it takes to even start a business? It took me many, many years when I was looking to start a business of how can I do a business, being in an environment where a lot of the students in school where I went, their parents owned businesses, and I didn't know anybody who owned a business, but I was always watching and just seeing them. And you were from this family who owned a business and that family. So I became inquisitive and I began to teach myself. And I took a lot of school classes in high school, and where it wasn't being offered to the general population in high school. It was more for those who were already in business, their families. So I created my own curriculum in high school. I didn't have a counselor who sat down and went over anything going forward to build so I can become that entrepreneur. And so what I did is I built my own curriculum in school. So when it was time for me to turn my courses in toward the end of the year, I always had some type of business. I had business law. I had DECA. That was a club that they had in school, but they had classes assigned to it that the kids, and I was usually one of the only students in there who was of another race, the black race. At that time, we didn't really have a large Latino population in the school I went to. And my school was very vast that I went to. The high school, my graduating class was almost 1,000. So just imagine how many African American students that were in there. Weren't very many. And so they weren't, really talking about business. And so when I went into my business classes and things like that, I was always like, how is this one doing this? How is that one doing that? And I self-taught. So I took business law in high school. I took economics. When I went to college, I focused on business administration. My mother was into business administration, but she was in the nonprofit sector for many years. She was in Head Start. She was in the community development of the youth programs, and she would write the policies. She would write the programs and things like that. So she spent a lot of time. I was born in at the age of very young into the civil rights. So she was one of the founders in the community I lived in. So she just was self-taught. So just to speak more about business, if you don't have that conversation in your community you're living in, I would encourage someone to just begin to look around and say, what can I do? How can I start a business? You have business within you. You just don't know that you have a business. And when you look at the business definition, I looked it up and I wrote it down. It says the practice of making one's living by engaging in commerce, which is marketplace. A lot of that language we don't know in the communities, in just everyday communities, because we tend to lean on just going to the store. I'm going to the store, and then all of a sudden I'm making a purchase. So we really don't know about what we're doing with our money. That these are businesses, these are people. Somebody came up, a Walmart came up with a concept and said, I want to sell something. I need to make an income for my family. I need to make a living. When you go to a McDonald's, there was somebody who was in decided they wanted to sell hamburgers. And if you don't know the history of McDonald's, there's a documentary out about the gentleman who eventually took over McDonald's and how he started out. So there is a way to make income and work for yourself. You just have to take and go get that knowledge. And this little by little. And Google University is the spot. Just begin to Google the foundation of words. What is business? What is trade? What is skills? There's so many things that you have access right in your hand that you do every day. If you go I worked in a hospital for 17 years, and I went in, and one of my things was I didn't see myself as really being able to be, I didn't want to be a doctor. My mother wanted me to be a nurse. I didn't want to be a nurse, but I met a nurse, a senior nurse, and I was a secretary on the patient care unit. And she was like, Fern, do you know how they got colleges and university? And I was like, no. She was like, with carpentry, she said a lot of times people went in and they would do like internships and things like that. And they found out, the boss found out he could make more money. And those who own these companies found out they could make more money, that if they took these skills and they charged for them, that would build their income. So they took the tradesmen and they began to take in hire. And then for those who came and they were in the marketplace and stuff, they began to educate. A lot of these people who own these businesses were self-educated. That's why when you look in the business arena, a lot of these people haven't gone to Yale or Harvard. They went and they said, you know what, I'm not doing that. I can make more money if I take and hire the people who have the skills and take and promote my business. They work for me, and I can have a business. So you have the capability of growing and doing more with the skills you have. You know, I have a couple of family members. They're very talented, very gifted. And, you know, sometimes when we go in, we don't see ourselves as business people. When you go to get a job, you don't see yourself as a business person. You see yourself as a skillsman. You see yourself as a skills lady. So you're offering your skills, your talents, and your gifts in exchange for a paycheck. The same process. You're offering your services and your skills, and somebody's paying you for what they say the market say you're worth. You don't see really who God made you to be, so we're limited in knowledge. The Bible says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. A lot of times, people don't want to be involved in that. So the thing is, how can I increase my income? You know, you might go to your boss and say, you know, I'm doing the work. I'm hanging in there with you and stuff. Do you think you can pay me a couple of extra dollars? Not knowing that you can actually take that skill you have, go into the marketplace and start your business, increase your business, increase your skills, increase your knowledge little by little, and people will pay you for what you know. So I want to let you know, and especially the younger generation, that you can start a business. You know, now they've done things with this AI and things like that, where they're blocking people even from becoming employed, because what they've done is they took a system, took a tool, and now if your resume does not line up with what their requirements are, then your application is instantly rejected. They don't tell you that. They'll say put an application in online, and if what the AI says that what that employer is looking for doesn't line up. My daughter, one of my daughters, is very skilled in her trade. She's an accountant, she's an analyst, and she's spending double time trying to get her resume. Been in the industry for years, still in the industry, and she has to get that resume lined up. She recently was contacted by someone who's helping her look for a job, and he told her, with the skill levels you have, you are a business. You're looking for a job. And he told her, you are the business. And I always encourage my children that you can make it with the skills you have. And I want you to know that the gifts and the talents that God has given you, you have the ability. Take your skills and offer them to the market. They're giving free courses and classes at the libraries, the community centers, online, little by little. You might say, I might not have the money for it. You'll be surprised. A lot of these classes are maybe $20, $25. I picked up a class this week and I want to do some advanced graphic designing. And they had a sale when I went on Udemy. There's a website called Udemy. You could take classes on there and stuff. And they're having a sale right now till the 22nd. It's like a 80% off sale. So I picked up a graphic design class for $9.99. There are things that you can do to move it forward in order to become productive in the marketplace, and people will pay for your skills. So don't be discouraged. You know, people are looking now, what am I going to do? Especially with the economy like it is. People are selling popcorn. I looked up two little girls, two little sisters. They've started a business out west someplace, and they're selling popcorn. They're online. You know, I went through their site and stuff like that. And, you know, kudos. If you have children, you have youth, summertime is here. Help them to start that lemonade business. I'm a big advocate with my grandkids. Okay, when I come out to Ohio, we're doing our lemonade stand. I always tell my granddaughter, I send them always something encouraging to let them know that you have a gift and you have an ability to be able to be self-employed. You don't have to work for someone. They didn't tell us that when we were in schools. How many businesses, everybody's looking to build the trade for jobs, but how many business people are saying you don't have to work for me? You can contract with me if you have your own business. They're not going to tell you that, because what they're looking for is labor. They want labor, but they want automation, but they want certain labor. The thing is, if you have a labor skill, you can market it and you can be that business. You can do AI. You could do an online marketing. So I want you to be encouraged, you young people. You know, with some guys up the street, there was a spot that was for vacant, for rent, and they opened up a detailing business. It's very lucrative. It's very profitable. I took my business, my son blessed me with a van for my gift wrapping business, and I went and I got it washed this week. And it was $20. That was just for a basic in the rims, you know, no inside or anything. So you can start a detailing business. You can start maybe a neighborhood you want to take and go and collect things around people's house and pick up for them and clean up for them. There's so many skills. There's parents, they're looking for someone to cook breakfasts and stuff for their kids and stuff, dinner and stuff. That's a business right there. You have the skills. You have the ability to be self-employed, where you don't have to go out there and just pick up anything. So I'm encouraging those single moms, start a business, get your kids together, begin to teach them, begin to share with them. A lot of times they go front. Everybody don't want to be business people. They don't have to. But you know what? If you need $1 or you need 50 cents, you see the homeless. Isn't it something? It's God that just blessed me with this knowledge. The homeless work. You wouldn't think some of the homeless work. They have to work, literally. I see the people on the exits. You see them at the malls. You see them, you know, lingering, trying to hustle up some money. Yet, if somebody just said, you have the skill to sit down and maybe go, I used to watch this gentleman in the neighborhood, you know, I vended in, and he would go from business to business, and he was a businessman. and he would wash people's windows. He would have a squeegee board. I would see him on his bicycle. He would have his bucket, and he would go through the neighborhood, and he would clean people's storefront windows. So I just wanted to share that part with you. I hope you're having a great day, successful day. Be encouraged. Encourage your youth. Encourage the kids in the neighborhoods to do positive things and things like that. There's so many things that can be done because God has put us all on here with a unique skill and ability to be prosperous. And that is for everyone. It's just not for one person. So, the marketplace is open. You got sellers and you got consumers. You have buyers and you have producers. Become a producer. We're constantly being the consumer. It's time to become the producer. You can do it. Be encouraged. Have a great day. And we'll definitely be back with more tips on being a producer and back up off of always being a consumer. Be well. Have a great day. This is Fern from FML Diversified. I know it's hard. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I just want to encourage you. It is hard. It's not easy, but you got to sit down, take your time, and ask yourself, what did you do? What can I do that will help me to go forward? This is a comment that it was put into the chat, and she or he said it's hard, but you know what? Hard. I told my kids this for many years. Hard is when you don't know what to do, but you take the opportunity. You take what you have. If it's making bread, you can make bread for your neighbor. You can make cookies. Great cookies until you perfect it. So it's going to be hard in the beginning because you don't know. Anything you don't know is going to be not for everybody, but it's hard. But I want you to be encouraged. You can do it. What do you like to do? What do you love to do? Start there. What do you love? Because there's always that favorite thing. If it's just talking, just like I'm talking to you on this phone right now, whoever thought we'd be talking to the phone? Everybody talking to the phone. Start there. There's some knowledge that you have and you possess that can encourage someone. Start a YouTube channel. Start a YouTube channel. Everybody's not going to tell you that. But you can start just by what you have. Be encouraged. And you have a great day. And I pray that right now, and I ask God that he will send you back for future videos, that as God prepares me, he's teaching me why I'm talking to y'all. I don't know about doing no YouTube, nothing. It's been a couple of years. I had a prophetic word over my life, years ago. And I was looking around, YouTube, what? But now it's easier to come on. I'm becoming more developed. I'm becoming more skilled. You can do it. You seeing people cook. You seeing people teach people practice. I learn while I'm here. I'm learning from others when I'm watching these videos. I'm like, oh, that's a good deal. One of the biggest ones I've learned recently was there was a video and the lady was hanging curtains. She said, let me show you what my mother-in-law showed me. And she took a set of draperies and she interchanged them and swapped the top up to make it that when she pulls the draperies, all of the draperies opened up together. Usually when I pull my draperies at the door in my bedroom, I have to pull one drapery because it's a long window, and then I have to pull I have to go back. And she showed where the drapery was being pulled, and the second one came with it. How idea. That was a great thing. I watched it. So people are taking those gifts and talents and they're making it work for them. You have to make things work for you. Don't be discouraged. Be encouraged. I'm not going to give up on myself. And I told my daughter today, I'm not giving up on you. You got my back. And you could say what you want to say to me, whatever that may be. I'm not going nowhere. Because as a kid growing up, I didn't have anybody to encourage me. My mother was working 5 kids. My pops left. And you know what? My mother had to make it work with 5 kids. And she took well care of herself. When she moved, we moved. She didn't leave us behind. So you got to make it work for you in the economy. I'm working on, I have a gift wrap business. I sell gift wrap, custom gift wrap paper. I have to make it work for me. But I want you to be encouraged today. You have a great day. Have a great evening. If you have a comment, whatever you're working on, I'm going to try to spell the name, but YUNUS. If you will send me a DM, send me a comment, tell me what your interests are, I will help you as best I can. Financially right now, I'm not able to, but you know what? The words of encouragement are so much more valuable than just a blank nothing from people. They just look at people. Be encouraged. Have a great day. Be well. This is Fern from FML Diversified.